This week, Kath and I lived at the Jasper County Fair. We spent our days around horses and children and parents. I thought I was going there to do some announcing for a horse show. I don't think I really was. I spent a week watching human nature. I watched kids own their mistakes, and then adults that refuse to admit mistakes. I watched teenagers accept defeat with dignity. And I watched grown men explain why nothing was ever their fault. It made me wonder, is accountability something we're losing? Or is it something we've forgotten, which was always there? Welcome back to Crusade With Me. And I'm Dave.
And I'm Kathy.
Thank you, dear. This week we're asking a question that sounds simple, but may explain why marriages struggle, why businesses fail, why friendships disappear, and why our culture feels increasingly divided, quite honestly. Why is it so difficult to simply say, I was wrong? We're not here to point fingers. We're here to ask better questions, because maybe accountability isn't punishment. Maybe it's freedom. So I invite you to grab a cup of coffee, slow down, and crusade with me. It was a week, was it not?
Yes, we're tired.
We have been tired.
We took a day yesterday, and I think we've discovered we need another day. Except
Yes.
we have too much to do.
I know, you're right. Including this episode.
Yes, we were supposed to record it yesterday, and it didn't happen.
Yep.
But life waits no more for us.
No, got to get back into the saddle. Back in the saddle again. Nope.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a good week.
It was.
We were just discussing adjusting our mindsets sometimes a little bit. It was a good week. Didn't feel like it. It was really hot last Sunday and Monday.
Yes. And then the storm came through and kind of cooled things down a little bit. But yeah, we had a little evacuation.
Had to evacuate the entire fairgrounds on Monday.
Yeah. You had to jump in a little sooner than you thought into your
Yeah, announcing chores wasn't supposed to start till Tuesday morning. And then midday Monday, we had to do the announcement about the evacuation due to a approaching storm.
Yeah. So we hid in, we took shelter in someone's basement.
Right.
Someone
right.
we don't know, but our daughter knows.
Correct.
So
it was very gracious to have us come over to their place and
Yeah.
stay in the basement.
yeah.
So yeah, it was a week. We stayed in a borrowed camper, which kudos to Jerry for loaning us his camper.
Absolutely.
And, I do enjoy camping. Don't know that if I enjoy camping at a fair.
Yeah, we did not enjoy the bathhouse.
No, yeah,
but
that's not our thing.
lucky
but
for us, we are early risers,
Yes.
and no one else wanted to shower at 5 o'clock in the morning, 4:30 in
Correct.
the morning. So
Correct.
we did have first grabs at the
Correct.
shower.
And all the hot water we wanted.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to get in and get out. I wasn't sticking around.
So yeah, what began? We began because there's an order to things in life, right? And in this earth, there's just an order. So you got the fair. So we got the horses, you got the stalls, you got the feeding times. There's an order to all of that as well. You got water buckets, you got practice. And guess what?
Yeah, let me take a break. Right.
Sure.
Now that's just the side that
that we were.
We also had a grandson that was doing pigs and bunnies.
Correct.
Which is on the total opposite end. And thank
north
goodness
end.
we had a golf cart that I did shuffle him to and fro a couple of times, and I was told I drove too fast or too slow.
Right.
And walked too slow. But anyway, so every kid there in the 4-H program has a responsibility.
Correct.
To an animal of some sort, not just horses, but
correct.
There is cattle, there is poultry, there is pigs, there is rabbits, which I might have to say that my grandson is the grand champion out of 284 rabbits.
Something like that. Yeah,
and I think I watched
champion.
Almost every one of those rabbits get turned around and upside down and get a thorough inspection, more thorough than I think I get from my doctor. It was crazy, but quite exciting.
Well, what I found so encouraging was this is all good stuff. This is all positive. You got kids. I mean, kids. And I told you earlier today, standing down, when I'm in the announcer's booth, I'm a couple flights up from the arenas, the horse arenas specifically. So when they ride by, I'm kind of looking down at them, but not much because they're sitting on horses, right? When we had the award ceremony on Friday, and they were sitting in the bleachers, standing on the ground, I'm standing on the ground, and they're walking up getting these awards. I'm like...
And you now have their names almost memorized, right?
These are little kids.
Yeah.
They are really...
Some of them are tiny.
Yes. Mounting 1,200-pound animals and controlling them. That's awesome. And it's not just controlling them, it's they care for them. That's the beauty of 4-H, right? They're teaching kids responsibility because the child is taking on a responsibility of another living creature.
Yes.
Whether it's a bunny.
Right.
It's a swine. It's poultry.
Kind of like our granddaughter, when the evacuation was called, was having a moment because she didn't want to leave her horse because of impending storm, possibility of, tornadoes, whatever. So there is that connection that they have. Unlike the younger grandson who, and again, this is mindset.
It really is. Yes.
Because if you're raising a steer or a dairy cow or a hog, they're going to be auctioned off. Friday afternoon is the auction, which we kind of got out of there a little quickly. For that, we wanted to stay, but we were tired. Okay,
let's be brutally honest. I wanted to shower in my own shower and sit on my own toilet.
Yeah, you want to sit in your throne. And chicken and ducks, obviously some of them auction those off.
Yes.
Also, because our granddaughter did a duck last year. So they get the proceeds from that. So anyways, our grandson, his hog went up for auction yesterday. In fact, he was going to come home with us because the other show pigs which is a long story, that didn't get to go to fair. That's the long story. They were supposed to have gone to the butcher a couple of weeks ago, so that by the time fair was over, he was going to come home with us after fair and stay. But because they couldn't get an appointment until I think next week or the week after,
meat processor.
He had to go home because he still has animals at home to take care of.
3 hogs.
So we will make arrangements later. So, and again, so the responsibility does not end after fair.
No.
But so my mom had texted when we had, talked about, the auction and stuff like that. And he was a picture was sent about him giving Todd his last bath, before he went into the auction. And she said, "Oh, is he going to be sad?" And it was as other kids were leaving the barn because theirs was going to auction, and there was crying and tears, and our grandson waved and said, "Bye, see ya."
He understood.
Yeah,
He understood.
and that is, we've said that from the beginning. Ours,
that is,
they know the
of
difference between a pet, and they know the difference between like the horse, who is not a pet, but
that is, it's a working animal.
it's a working animal,
It's
and then
something
they
you have
know
to
the
connect with at
difference
work.
between a food source.
Correct.
And there is no, there is a
And I
delineation.
thank you, baby, because that gets us right back on track with what I want to talk about here, and that is that's all part of the order. There is an order, right? And the animals don't care if there's an announcer. They're not there for speeches.
Mm-hmm.
Animals don't even care for excuses.
Mm-hmm.
Because reality is simple. The animals don't care about intentions. The animals respond to action.
Mm-hmm.
But isn't that true in all of our lives?
Mm-hmm.
Horses don't negotiate reality, right? The horse simply lives with it.
Mm-hmm.
Miss feeding time, the horse knows, right?
Mm-hmm.
Neglect the stall, it doesn't become clean because you had good intentions.
Mm-hmm.
So reality has a way of reminding us that actions matter. Makes me think there's an ancient Chinese sage once observed, nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished. That's worth thinking about. Animals aren't necessarily in a hurry. The seasons aren't in a hurry. And I'd say character is not built in a hurry.
Mm-hmm.
But there was always this order. We can look in Genesis chapter 2. Adam was given responsibility, right? Before sin entered the world, you got to work. Got to keep up. Have to guard. Have to create. Just tells me that responsibility is part of creation. this is what so I got some questions I'd like the listeners to ponder and then answer. Why do responsibilities often give life meaning? This is something I learned this week. Why do children usually become what is expected of them? Is freedom found in avoiding responsibility or embracing it? And this is where I've really been puzzling over. What if accountability is woven into creation itself? But then something broke. Then you get to chapter 3 of Genesis. And we all know the story, right? I mean, we really do know the story. And let me just break it down really fast. So the first thing sin destroyed, in my mind, is ownership. Adam. The woman.
Mm-hmm.
Eve. The serpent.
Mm-hmm.
They don't say, I did it. What was the first symptom of sin? Not murder. Not theft. Blame. Blame. It's a big old world out there, and the 4-H Horse and Pony Show is just a microcosm of that world.
Mm-hmm.
We saw young kids with ownership.
Mm-hmm.
We saw young kids with grit.
Mm-hmm.
We saw moms. We saw a mother with grit.
Mm-hmm. Oh, stop. Yep.
But we also saw adults that would blame.
Yep.
Not accept accountability. And that's just a microcosm. All you have to do is you have to look at social media, politics. Look at a lot of marriages.
Mm-hmm.
Work. The old work dramas, right?
Mm-hmm.
Families. We all got them.
Mm-hmm.
So here's what I've been wondering. Why is blame our first instinct?
Honestly,
Yeah.
I think embarrassment.
So Adam and Eve had embarrassment? They were living in the Garden of Eden. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's paradise. It's and Oh, and a matter of fact, I didn't even go into much detail. Just said Adam blamed Eve. No, Adam even kind of blamed God. The woman you gave me, actually, is what he said.
The embarrassment of being caught, and like nobody. That was my thought. That was the first thought that popped in my head. It's just embarrassment.
No, you're right. It made me think of Martin Luther once wrote. Because of this, I think he was thinking the same thing. Luther wrote, "The entire life of believers is to be one of repentance." So we have it in us to blame, to not accept accountability.
Mm-hmm.
So we better have our entire life filled with repentance. What Luther did not write was, Christian life is pretending to be perfect. Right?
Right.
He said it returning again and again and again. Then repentance isn't humiliation. And I think that's where you're talking about that embarrassment. Right. If we practice repentance often,
mm-hmm.
embarrassment goes away.
Mm-hmm.
Repentance and accepting accountability, it's the courage to come back into alignment with what is true. Here's another question. Why do excuses feel safer than truth? It softens. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But young kids do this. They weren't trained to do this. We've talked about this with our own grandchildren. So what part of ourselves are we protecting by not accepting accountability, by making excuses, by blaming others? There's something within us we're trying to protect, I'm convinced, or not reveal.
That could be. And do you think part of it is, pardon me, that people aren't always listening or listening to the fullest, or might start out listening but are already coming up with their excuse in their head before it leaves their mouth, and so they're not
we talked about it in the series, right?
Right.
Our brains never stop talking.
Right. But if they would listen maybe in totality to the one calling out
problems,
or right, and I'm not thinking of someone who's always, but so in this, okay,
right.
Well, you did this wrong, you did this wrong, you did this wrong. But if you're already stuck on one,
you can't get to the other.
And you're already thinking of your excuse. You're not totally listening, because there was one of the judges in the pork barn. He was very descriptive, very about okay, well, this is what I like. I like
yes,
this, I like this, and this is what I don't like.
I think that was called a swine.
Swine. So I knew there was a more formal. So I'm thinking that if you're already defensive, like, well, my hog's head is really good, and I think it's really skinny. So if you're already being defensive,
you're not hearing.
And you're not hearing all the things that are being said So if we get in that mode where we're defensive and we're already planning our defense, can we really be open?
No. And that was what, that was my last question I had written down for this was, have we become experts at defending ourselves instead of examining ourselves?
Yes.
And I'm guilty of that. I mean, we're all guilty of that.
Absolutely. Chief of sinners, though I be.
Right. Just something to ponder, something to think about. But then we saw some things that were beautiful.
Yes.
At the fair. I remember, I'm not going to use names.
No. We protect the innocent.
I can use their number. She was a doll. She was a little doll. She was, and like I said, I didn't realize how small she really was till I was standing on the ground, and she walked up to get her award, and I'm like, "Good Lord!" She was tiny.
I believe that she is the one that our son-in-law was calling Smiley.
I think so.
Yeah.
Number 22. She was in every class. I feel like she showed up to every class. When I say class, showing in every that she's of age to, or her horse is of age to. And did really well on some and not as well on others. And we know this, right? I mean, horses are, there's not a one, now. All right, I'm just going to say this. I think there's a lot of wonderful people out there in the horse world. But one thing I've learned is they're all absolutely freaking crazy.
Yes.
Okay?
They
are.
That is your blanket statement.
Yeah, and okay, I just spent a week with them. And I'm more convinced now than when I started the week.
And some of those you say with love because
yes, I do.
Yeah. Our new friend, Tammy.
Yes, indeed.
She's a nut, but
Tammy
we really like her.
Yes, she is a nut. And I don't think that has anything to do with horses. But it was the polls. And, you have to ride a pattern. And this little girl is on this horse that, to your point, when she's kicking the horse, she's not kicking the horse aside. She's almost kicking his back.
Top of his back.
Because
she's so tiny.
She's so tiny. But she's out there. And this horse is responding to her. And just, they didn't do well. They didn't follow the pattern. She was leaning the wrong way once, and the horse took a wrong turn and missed a pole, and now it was no time, right? But she didn't stop. She finished the course.
Right.
And as she come around that last pole, and then she's got to ride the horse back toward the south end where you then go out of the arena. And there's timers with eyes set up to catch all this. She knows she's messed up. And she is absolutely grinning from ear to ear. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yeah, that's why he calls her Smiley.
That's what I loved about it. And then one of the young cowboys, there were a couple of cowboys out there. And you know who I'm talking about. I sat next to his mother quite a bit this week in the announcer's booth. There are things that he's interested in, and that's anything gaming. Western pleasure, he's not interested. And I remember him writing back after one event and he's riding right toward me in the indoor arena. Of course, I'm not as high up. And so I'm looking right at him. And he is also grinning from ear to ear and gives me a big fat 0 because he knows I got 0 on this. He owned his mistakes. Now, he really didn't care too much either, but what a great attitude to have. Not getting too wrapped around the axle, too serious. It was something nice to see, I thought.
Yes. Well, and I have to point out, if you're going to say that, I have to say our one of my favorite riders, barrel riders, who had an injury. Well, her horse fell.
Yeah, she took a fall.
She took a fall, and then that second event after that, and she did not complete the pattern.
Right.
But she finished it. She
Correct,
actually
correct.
went, the time was done, and she
Correct.
got back on the horse, and she completed the pattern, started
Correct.
over. That was the one with the flower, whatever. But she went right. She came back,
The
started
keyhole.
over.
The keyhole,
Yep,
yeah.
there was no timer on it. But she did it, and to me, that builds character.
Absolutely. Well, I was surprised at the number of wrecks we had because we didn't have that many wrecks last year at the fair. This year we had at least one every day, which is a little bit surprising. Well, and I have I'm not a horse person. I'm no horse show expert by any stretch. All I have to compare is what we saw last year. And we had some pretty significant wrecks this year. I mean, with horses down on top of kids.
But nobody was hurt. Seriously.
Well, yeah, right.
nobody was serious.
Yeah.
Well, there was no
they're scraped up.
ambulances.
No,
yeah,
there was
but
no ambulances.
Bruised up, scraped up.
Yes.
Animals are fine.
Yes. But that's the thing is they go back to work. And that's, as you say, the ones that builds character.
And it speaks to their character.
Yes, not blaming, not making excuses, just here we go.
And honestly, dare I say, I think it speaks to their parents who have taught them, we're not done here. We're gonna finish what we started.
Yes. And it's that waking up every morning willing to begin again. Because repentance isn't shame. Polycarp was a bishop who had followed Christ for decades. And then he was ordered to deny Jesus to save his own life. And he answered, 86 years I have served him, and he has done me no wrong. That's accountability. Not because someone was watching, but because faithfulness had become who he was. How many ordinary days did it take before Polycarp could speak extraordinary words? So do children sometimes recover faster than adults?
Yes.
Yes. Not sometimes, always.
Always.
What if humility is actually strength? And it is.
Yes.
And could admitting we're wrong become one of the strongest things we ever do? So maybe accountability isn't about looking backwards. Maybe it's about becoming someone.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
Because I believe that every choice is forming someone. Every day we're practicing becoming someone. We're practicing patience or impatience, generosity or selfishness, truthfulness or excuses. Nobody wakes up one morning thinking, okay, this is my dishonest day. Right?
Right.
They practice it. Nobody accidentally becomes wise. They practice that too.
It's the situations that you're put in that makes all of those things get tested.
Yes.
And sometimes you're going to fail, and some days you're going to succeed.
And I've talked about habits on this podcast many times. I talked about it extensively on Built Not Wished podcast. There's a guy, St. Ignatius of Antioch. On his way to being martyred, Ignatius wrote something remarkable. They had actually sent Roman soldiers to Antioch to escort him back to Rome. And they stopped in all the usual cities, Ephesus. And St. Ignatius of Antioch wrote, "It is better to be silent and be than to speak and not be." I love that. That reminds me that Christianity has never simply been about saying the right things. It's about becoming the kind of person whose life tells the truth. Just like we started this at the fair with every bucket carried, every stall cleaned. I would purport to you that every apology offered, every excuse refused, we're becoming someone. So what habits are quietly shaping us? Here's something to ponder. What kind of person am I becoming? If someone watched my ordinary week, who would they think I'm becoming? Then I realized Christianity isn't asking us to become better actors. It's inviting us to become new people. John 14 says, "I am the way, Not merely a way, the way. Truth isn't an idea. Truth became flesh in Colossians 1. In him all things hold together. Maybe every one of us sense that life has an order, that courage matters, that truth matters, that forgiveness heals, that love creates. Because as a Christian, we know the universe is not held together by energy. It's held together by a person. Not merely forgiveness, restoration, realignment, communion, transformation. One of the reasons stories like Star Wars have captured the imaginations of generations is that they tap into something people instinctively sense, that there is a right way to live, that selfishness and self-giving are not equal, that there is a struggle between light and darkness. But that's where Christianity gets it right. Christianity says that longing isn't answered by an impersonal force woven through the universe. It is by a person. The one through whom all things were made, and in whom all things are held together. You know, across cultures, across centuries, across languages, wise men kept noticing the same thing. Reality seems to have a grain to it. We live with it or against it. But only one voice ever claimed to be truth itself. Jesus didn't simply teach the way. He said, I am the way. That's the difference. So at the fair, I thought I was watching horses. Instead, I watched boys become men, girls become women, parents shaping futures. I watched responsibility. I watched excuses. I watched humility. And I realized every single day, every single choice, every single word is quietly forming someone. The question isn't, will I be formed? The question is, into whom? I do want to ask another question. If accountability forms character, what happens when a culture stops believing the truth even exists? Can truth still be discovered? Or do we simply invent our own? That'll be next episode's discussion. This has been Crusade with me. Remember, the world doesn't change because someone wins another argument. It changes one honest confession, one faithful step, one act of courage, one quiet decision at a time. Keep your eyes on Christ, keep paying attention, and as always, keep crusading with me.